Vår soffaffär är den bästa här för ditt soffbegär. Vår soffaffär, jag kom förbi på Halifax Street. Vi gör allt från polyester till lin. Välj ett tyg som matchar din gardin. Vår soffaffär är mer besvär än du tror den är. Hitta inte på något tills du sett vår soffaffär.
Well, that was a Swedish sofa shop. That was something different, wasn't it, man?
It was. It was Swedish.
Do you know any Swedish words?
Yeah, tuck. For thank you or something. You know, don't you watch all those, Scandi noir crime things? And they always say tuck to each other?
Yeah. I haven't watched one for a while, but no, yes, that's true.
And also, I love all that Scandi stuff. Anyway, that cover of the Sofa Shop ad jingle came from Jonathan and Miriam. I'll read you what they wrote. Hi, Tim and Brady. My sister and I love your podcast. Since we are Swedish, we of course had to contribute to the growing collection of Sofa Shop covers in other languages, written and sung by us with a little help on the guitar from Joss. Here we present you Va Sofa-far. And the lyrics, do you want me to have... I'll give you a go at the lyrics here. Va sofa-far är den bästa här för ditt sofabagar. Va sofa-far, jag kom förbi på Halifax Street. Vi har åt från polyester till lin. Valj ett tyg som matchar din gardin. Va sofa-far är mer preservad under tråden är. Hitta inte på något tills du sett va sofa-far.
That's impressive. Did you practice that before?
No, it's just watching like The Bridge and all those shows.
That's impressive. You're better at speaking like a Swede than I am speaking Dutch or rapping Dutch, and I'm a renowned Dutch rapper.
Well, let's take things to the next level, because we've also had Eirik get in touch. Hi, Eirik from Oslo, Norway here. I work as a programmer and am currently finishing a textbook for the programming subject in Norwegian high schools.
Wow.
My deadline is on Monday. And despite the deadline, here we go. One of my creative outlets is playing the guitar and sometimes translating songs. With the large amount of Sofa Shop translations for exotic languages rolling in, my fear of getting beat to the finish line... Finish line, that's quite funny. I could make a joke there somewhere.
Very good.
My fear of getting beat to the finish line grew larger than the fear of missing my deadline. After hearing the North Macedonian version of the song, I took a half hour out of my schedule to write my Norwegian translation and record it. Here is Eirik's Norwegian Sofa Shop.
På Sofa Shop har vi allt på topp innen sofautvalg. På Sofa Shop på Halifax Street är vårt sofautsalg. Här får du sofaen slik du vill. Välj eget stoff och få gardiner till. The Sofa Shop koster mindre än det du tror det gör. Så ikke finn på noe før du drar til Sofa Shop.
Not bad, that one, Tim. You like that one?
Yeah, that's nice too. I tell you, he writes textbooks. That's impressive, isn't it? You got to know something to write a textbook on it.
Well, you'd think so.
Well, you'd hope so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's impressive. Imagine the person who's writing a textbook. You never imagine that person also doing Sofa Shop theme song covers. I mean, you don't, do you? I mean, that's...
Well, I do.
Well, you do now.
How about you have a go at these lyrics after I took the plunge with Swedish?
Do I have to do them in some sort of rhythm or like...
Well, I didn't.
See, I've got so many beats in my head, that I just feel like I mean,
just the rapping just comes naturally to you, yeah.
Hos Sofa Shop har vi allt på topp in en sofagel. The Sofa Shop på Halifax Street. It's good to see the Halifax in there.
Yeah.
Vart sofazalg hur du sofen slik du vill. Välj eget stoff och gardiner till. The Sofa Shop koster mindre än det du drar det går. Så ik finn på nu får du dra till Sofa Shop.
A little flourish at the end there. Couldn't help himself. Always the showman. De Heinhond took over.
Just clarifying for anyone who's wondering, no, I'm not from Norway. And neither is my father.
Eirik wrote quite a lot about, like, the ins and outs of Norwegian and translation. I won't go into all the details here because it was a lengthy one.
Yeah.
He talked a lot about the problems you have when you're going between English and Norwegian, like some of the challenges in technical detail. The guy writes textbooks. Of course he went into some detail. But at the end, he said this, which I found interesting. He said, this is about the sofa shop, but because it carries a message that goes beyond the limits of borders and nations, the sofa shop lyrics easily fell into their proper place. Like he said, the sofa shop just was an easier translation than normal. And he thinks it's because there's something about the tune and the lyrics that transcend mere language.
Ah, it's the universal themes, yes.
The universal themes of matching your curtains with your sofa.
Well, that's true. It's true. I'm surprised because the Scandinavians, it's surprising they've got on board with this because they generally have as sort of very austere furniture, don't they?
Yeah.
Very much known for their, curtains. Have you ever seen a curtain featuring in a Scandinavian interior decorating?
And I feel like that Swedish brother and sister that did the sofa shop, it's almost like they're cheating on IKEA.
Yeah. It's funny when a country's known for a product or a brand, you just assume they're all there doing or participating in that all the time.
Yeah, just always eating those meatballs.
So you just picture everyone in America is at Disneyland eating McDonald's, like that's all they're doing.
That's what I'd be doing. Here's one third one for you. You haven't heard this one in advance. I want to see your impression of this one. This one has come from Daniel.
The chauffeur's up, he's just only up for the no-for you seed. The chauffeur's up, yeah, drum and cupping on Stralifax heat. We have a dofus assigned your foo. Who's your chabra catcher Mertens too? The chauffeur's up ain't gonna gust what you wink at Bill. Don't you through a ding until you've been the chauffeur's up.
Well, now, hang on a second. That's interesting. So that's it's not a palindrome, is it? Is it that he's exchanged the first letters of words for each other? Is that how he's done it?
Oh, nothing gets past you, Tim. Here we go. Dear Tim and Brady, it is with great excitement that I share my addition to the growing canon of sofa shop covers. I am always amused by spoonerisms, or swapping the first sounds of words.
That's it. Yes, spoonerisms.
Like brim and tady, or wound of the speak. I especially enjoy singing spoonerism versions of songs. A favourite of mine is Angelica's rap from Satisfied in Hamilton. Naturally, I had to record a spoonerism cover of Adelaide's favourite jingle. My friend Brian made the instrumental track, and we tried to keep the song as close to the original as we could, aside from the modified lyrics. Special thanks to my friend Eric as well for his feedback on earlier drafts. I hope you enjoy. Traws Yuli, Daniel.
Yeah, that's great. I love spoonerisms. And I have to say, I think I went through a bit of a period where I would unintentionally be spoonerizing things that I was saying.
Yeah, hymn time.
That's right. I remember setting someone off at school once when I told them I'd see them on the Baywhack, and instead of the way back. And I didn't mean to say it, and yeah, it was a source of much amusement. Anyway, yeah, very clever. I love this, Daniel. Well done. Nice work.
I have to say, I'm so impressed by this. Daniel, I think you're a real talent, and I really enjoyed that. But I would say I would not use the line, I especially enjoy singing spoonerism versions of songs. A favourite of mine is Angelica's rap from Satisfied in Hamilton. I wouldn't put that on like a dating profile or something. I'd wait till you got to know someone a bit better before you told them that you're really into doing show tune spoonerisms. Just advice from a friend.
Oh, that's gold.
It takes some processing before you can totally respect it. Which I do.
Do you reckon he puts that on his business card?
His Kisness bard.
On inked ling. Yeah, very good.
Let's move on with the show. Tim, there's just something that's been on my mind. and I wanted to ask you about it because it's just randomly been in my head, something from our youth.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking a lot about how, I sort of collect things and I like all my astronaut autographs and my space stuff and all that.
Yeah.
And while I do joke that you're a bit of a hoarder and you do have things like books and albums and stuff, I've never thought of you so much as like a collector. But then I remembered something that you were collecting when we were younger that I always thought was quite a cool thing to collect. And I'm just wondering what's come of it, or did I have it wrong or something? And that is, let me use a phrase from our youth that was said many, many times to start the conversation. And that is Tommy Emmanuel's plectrum. I haven't said that for a while. Tommy Emmanuel's like a famous Australian guitarist. He's a very good guitarist. And Tim, you had one of his plectrums, one of his guitar picks, didn't you, somehow?
That's right, I did. Yes.
How did that happen?
I saw him at Brash's. So
the music store. This is a music store, yeah.
At Marion Shopping Centre, I heard he was going to be at Brash's. And I got there early. You know how musicians turn up at music stores to do a little performance back in the day when people bought CDs?
Yeah.
And I went there early. Surprise, surprise. There was nearly no one else there. Like, it was just a few people. And he played the guitar, and then we could go up and, shake his hand or get our album. The idea is that you buy the album and get it signed. I can't remember if I did or not.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think I've ever owned it, so I don't think I did. But the album was called Determination for those following at home.
No, links in the show notes.
Yep.
Finally, it's paying off for Tommy. He was playing the long game with you.
But, I just asked him. I said, look, can I have your plectrum?
Yeah.
And he said, he goes, oh, and he sort of smiled, because it's a bit like going up to a famous writer and saying, look, can I have your pen?
Yeah.
As if somehow that's the pen that they did all the work with.
Yeah.
And he just smiled and he goes, oh, sure. And he puts his hand in his pocket. Where is it? And then hands it over and he goes, yep. And then he's sort of in a kind of a tone that, I think he wasn't winking at me. He was kind of winking at the others around. He wasn't literally winking, but I think it was a bit, like a bit of at my expense. He sort of said, played some great gigs with that one, like.
Right. So he thought it was like a weird thing to want to collect, or,
Yeah, like as if somehow the plectrum carried magic or was... it's not like it's Jimi Hendrix's guitar, it's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of... like a rock and roll cafe on display. It's just a random plectrum that he probably just pulled out of the million that he's got in a box at home.
Do you still have this guitar pick?
Look, I assume not. But look, two things. One is I can't remember seeing it anywhere when I went through heaps of stuff when we moved recently. Secondly, I can't imagine throwing it out either because of this lovely little moment and because it doesn't take up any room. I'm sure I would have just gone, there it is, and thrown it in with other stuff, but I can't think where it is.
Did you collect any other guitar plectrums, guitar picks over the years from other famous guitarists?
I thought Tommy Emmanuel's plectrum was going to be the first of a very impressive collection.
Yeah.
And I have had a lot of plectrums laying around over the years in my, possession. Most of them have just been mine. And it doesn't really count when you're collecting your own plectrums like this.
No.
Not quite as impressive. I can't remember if I have. I think I have. I think I've met other people, but I certainly went off asking for their plectrums. I interviewed a lot of rock musicians and got autographs and stuff, as you know, but I don't think I asked for any more. No, wait, I think I asked for Jack Jones when I saw him at Marion Shopping Centre as well.
From Southern Sons? Yeah.
Yes.
Traralgon Lad?
Yeah. So, whoa. It's look, suffice to say the collection's not going well.
Is it a thing at gigs for guitarists to throw their plectrum out into the crowd?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. They do it a lot. Yeah. You sort of flick it, throw it and flick it. And you'll see that actually, because you often drop it during a gig. I say this as if I'm playing gigs, but sometimes when two-piece feet are doing a wedding, I have been known to drop my plectrum. I throw it out into the crowd. Woo! Here we go.
Have you ever set your plectrum on fire and kept playing with it?
Only through playing very fast.
Right.
But you see them lined up along the guitar, the microphone stand, on stuck.
Right.
to little bits of gaffer tape. So there's like 12 there all the way down. And then during the concert, you might drop yours and you grab another one, mid-song.
So it's not like you use different plectrums. It's more like having spare golf balls in case you hit one out into the water or something.
That's a very good analogy. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
I have to say they are collectible because what's become very common is that people have them branded and made. So the band Kiss would have Kiss plectrums that you could actually buy, or that they'd have made, and if you get one, thrown in the crowd. And same with Bon Jovi and Smashing Pumpkins and any other band. So collecting them is, I'm sure, a thing. It's not my thing.
Not your thing
anymore. No, that dream died.
Hang on, man. I just sent you this image. This is actually a new piece of Unmade podcast merchandise that I haven't told you about yet.
Oh, look at that.
We now have Unmade podcast Tim Hine autograph plectrums.
Oh, that is awesome. Oh, that's great. Look at that.
Man, I know all about branding plectrums. Do you want to describe the two sides of this new plectrum to people? What it looks like?
Now I know why you asked me for my signature a few weeks ago.
No, that was actually for some bank fraud I was doing. But anyway.
Yeah. I know you've been secretly after my autograph all these years. They look really cool. They look really cool.
Lovely. They're lovely.
These are little plectrums, dark blue, cool sort of looking blue, a bit like you'd see on a dark chocolate sort of wrapper, sort of dark blue.
It's sort of an dark opaly blue.
That's true. Yep. And it has my signature there, or like my name. Please don't go frauding. It's not my official signature for legal purposes.
Right.
But it's the one I give to the fans. It's my true autograph. And
I like that you did that side first. To me, that's the back. Like, that's the side I would have talked about second, but that was the one you went straight to. And on the main side, it's got my autograph. It's me.
And the other side, it says something about some podcast I'm associated with. But anyway, the autograph looks amazing.
Tell us about the other side.
Well, the other side has two things on it. It's quite a busy side.
Yes.
One of them, it's got the Unmade sort of symbol, square for Unmade, and that looks pretty cool. And then it seems to have a piece of recording that I can't imagine what it is.
It is the famous waveform of Tim's Money for Nothing solo.
Yes. Yeah, and that looks cool too because it looks kind of worn, like you've had your finger playing and shredding with it for ages.
Played until your fingers bled.
That's exactly right.
So as most people probably know, if you're a Unmade podcast stakeholder, a Patreon supporter, when you get to sort of $50 lifetime contribution, we send a sofa shop pin to you. And I've always said we should have something at another level. Like if you go further and contribute more over the months and years, there should be another perk at a higher level. And that's what I'm thinking these plectrums are going to be. So if you want a Tim Hine autograph, limited edition guitar pick, opal blue, keep supporting us. And one day in the post soon, you will have one of these coveted items. And
you'll be able to play as Money for Nothing as well as I do.
As well as you do.
That's cool.
Of course, Tim, I will send you a few of these. And what I'm hoping you will do is make them, have everyone in the church band use them.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, they will be distributed widely. That's great. And I'll be distributing them during church. So I'll just be flicking them out during a sermon. Woo! There we go.
They do look a bit like communion wafers. I mean, I think that might be pushing it, though.
I think this is my favourite piece of merchandise. I think that's great. It's better even than the massive beach towel with my face on it that you left in your bathroom and scared the hell out of your wife with.
All right.
That's cool. Nice work.
Patreon.com/unmadefm if you want to get on the train towards owning your very own Tim Hine autograph guitar plectrum.
Or turn up at a 2-piece feed gig wedding sometime soon and sit near the front.
or basically just get within 100 meters of Tim at any point in your life. Little bit of follow-up. We got lots of messages about Myrtle Beach, which Tim mentioned as an exotic place he'd been to, or an unusual place he'd been to.
Dirty Myrtle, yes.
Dirty Myrtle. Thanks for all your contributions. I'll read just one. This comes from Jacob, who is a stakeholder, and Jacob says, I found it extremely funny that when you and Tim were talking about obscure locations, he happened to mention Myrtle Beach. He said, it's not somewhere you would set out for. Funnily, I and my twin brother, Justin, have been there twice, and we live in Michigan. We specifically took a trip there with our friends who are also twins, Ben and Aaron. It was a vacation for us, and about a 16-hour drive. I find it intriguing how perspectives are different all around the world. Anyway, love the podcast. Still crossing my fingers for a spoon and a card. And Jacob, you hang in there, mate. You might even get a plectrum.
Wow. So that was two twins on a 16-hour road trip to Myrtle Beach.
2 pairs of twins. 4 guys. 2 pairs of twins.
And 1 open road. Nice.
Would you drive 16 hours to Myrtle Beach? I've never been there, so I can't pass comment.
No, I did drive about 6 or 7 to get there.
Okay.
I can't remember with my friend, like for the purposes.
Well, where's your line in the sand? You were willing to do 6 or 7, but not 16. Where's the crossover point here?
I wouldn't do 6 or 7 again. I did it then because it was for Christian ministry and with my friend.
Right.
And it was enjoyable, but I think we'd say, well, let's try somewhere different next time.
All right. So you'd do it for Jesus, but not for Justin and Jacob.
Well, yes. I'm sorry, Justin and Jacob. I mean, I love you guys. Thanks for listening.
Fair enough. It's time for ideas for podcasts. You know that's what we do.
Yes. Now, I've got a dilemma because I've got an idea. And I had the idea a few weeks ago and I thought of a perfect example. But now I can't for the life of me think of the example that I thought of. And I didn't write it down, but I've still got the idea. So the dilemma is, do I go with the idea knowing that I can't back it up with an example and hoping that you will be able to think of something? Or do we just sit here in silence for a while?
I'm gonna go the idea option in this particular case. I'm gonna back us.
All right, I know. You're a sucker for my ideas.
Yeah, I'm gonna back us to come up with something.
My idea for a podcast is called Epic Fail.
Yep.
And this is a podcast where people come on to talk about their failures. They come on to describe something they tried and failed at. And they explore why they failed, what their aspiration was, how they went about it, how they feel about the failure, how they've moved on, if they tried again.
Tim.
It's a story about failure.
Tim, if you had a video camera in my office between the hours of 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. yesterday, you could have recorded me trying to install the vent for my air conditioner in my office and had an entire episode of Epic Fail. I am an epic fail anytime I do anything that is like a little bit handy, like involving nails and screws, and I am so bad. So bad. You'd think just by sheer luck I'd occasionally do something right, but I don't. I'm so unhandy.
I love seeing you doing something that involves a tool or something. It doesn't look all wrong.
I know, I sent a picture the other day to you of me gardening and it really freaked you out, didn't I?
I know. I was like, that's not...
You said I'm not used to seeing you do physical labour.
Yeah.
We'll come back to epic fail in a second, but I've had a sort of a similar idea that's not quite epic fail, but is to do with my frustration at me always stuffing things up. And I sometimes feel like the world's against me. I just know if I do something, the wrong thing's going to happen. A classic example for me is always, you know how you should take your shoes off if you go outside and then you're going to walk across some nice carpet. You think, should I take my shoes off? I'll get away with it. always that'll be the time there's a bit of mud on my shoe I missed that goes on the carpet.
Yes, yes.
Or like you're carrying something upstairs, like you're carrying too many things upstairs and you think, oh, this is too many things, I shouldn't risk it. I'll probably bang the wall and dent the wall. I'll get away with it.
Yes.
Always I'll dent the wall, every time. Sometimes I just feel like the world's against me.
It's not against you, it's telling you the wisdom and you're ignoring it and ploughing ahead.
Yeah.
You live in the world, like you're part of the world, you're oriented to the world and you know what to do, but you decide not to. So I think the world feels like you're against it. It's telling you what to do, common sense is there, and you're ploughing ahead.
Basically, it's laziness. I've got the wisdom and experience to know what to do and what not to do because I've been around long enough, but my laziness means I don't follow my own wisdom and intuition.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
So this your podcast idea is called "I'm Lazy," and
yeah. and I never actually made the podcast because I was too lazy. So, episode 0 of I'm Lazy.
That's taking the Unmade podcast to the next level.
It is. So epic fail is it supposed to be like people coming on and telling their own little stories? It's not like, the captain of the Titanic who hit the iceberg and stuff like that. It's more kind of like, because that's a pretty epic fail.
Well, it could have both, because I think it would be nice to have people's personal stories cached within, big moments of failure, if you like, from history. Just to give some context, because we all need to remember that we're all, we fail at stuff all the time. You know what I mean? There's shame attached to it sometimes, but there shouldn't be, because if you haven't failed, then you haven't tried anything. And but I do like the idea of people coming on and being able to unpack, someone guide them through and unpack, how they felt when what was the moment you realized it wasn't going to work? When was the moment you realized it was over or that you had to let it go? And I think people telling that story and how they feel about it is really interesting and could be even cathartic for the person.
You said you couldn't remember an example. In what world can you not think of a single example of failure? The world is full of failure every day.
I think I can think of examples from other people. I just can't think of... Well, I could think of one example from myself. The one and only time I ever failed at anything, and I can't remember what it is. I've blocked it out. No...
Oh dear.
No, it's just that there was an example of something in particular that I thought was amusing, and it's still eluding me, and it's driving me nuts trying to think about it. And I'm sure I'll have to do it as catch up next time because I'm sure it'll come to me soon as we're finished talking. But
right.
Yes, no.
This whole idea is turning into an epic fail, man.
It is. It's a failure to remember, failure to execute my idea properly. Drives me crazy. I have succeeded in a pretty good name for it, though. Would you agree?
Epic. Yep. Good name. Yep.
Yes. All right.
Yes.
Good stuff. Big tick. Hang on, I'm just putting a big tick next to that on my pad here. There we go.
I remember for a year or two at the BBC when they were going through, one of their trendy periods, and I was learning to be a filmmaker there. They were really big there on freedom to fail. When you go out and make films and videos and reports, they said, you've got freedom to fail, experiment, try and do things differently and creatively. It's okay to fail.
Yeah.
But it's not really okay to fail, because if everyone goes out and fails, there's nothing to put on the news that night at 6 p.m.
What they're saying is it's okay to fail a couple of times as long as you come back with a real doozy afterwards. It's like...
Yeah. It's okay to fail on the training course.
Yeah, that's right. The other saying I've heard a lot, I think it's like a motivational book, is failing forward. So the idea is that you learn from your failures, so you don't fail back, you don't slot back, you fail forward. So every failure takes you forward, which of course it does if you stop and learn from it. I mean, I don't know if that's applicable to your handyman skills, but in general, the rest of life, most people are able to fail forward. I failed at heaps of stuff, but it's really... Well, that in itself is really impressive. So you think back on, there's relationships when I was young, and I think, I really stuffed up that relationship because I was selfish or I was naive and I said the wrong, so it just sort of, you look back and go, it could have been different. So there are projects and, literal fails on essays that I've done, and it failed when I was, studying in my early days.
Have you ever failed an essay that when you handed it in, you thought was exceptional, and you thought the lecturer was going to come up to you and say, that's genius, I want to put it up for an award, and it came back and, it was a fail? Or did you kind of know they were fails when you handed them in?
Well, you know what? There's two examples. One's a quick one, and that is that I thought I wrote a very good essay, but it came back as a fail because the person said I'd written a really good essay but missed the point.
Right.
And I appealed it, and I said, look, I know I've got it slightly wrong. You know what I mean? If you're slightly wrong in archery, you miss the target. I get that. But I said I have actually done research, and this is evidence of significant learning in this topic. And I think it should be, like, I made the case, and it was approved as just a bare pass.
Right.
But the example that I think of is an essay that I have for years since used as my example on study skills day when the new students come and they're all nervous about study. And I, have sometimes run the course of orienting them on how to write an essay and how to research and put a bibliography together and all those sort of basic skills you need in academic study. And then at the end, I put up on the screen this essay, right? And and it's a classic because it was my first little bit of postgraduate study. And so it had to be like a longer essay. And I thought it was really good. I learned an enormous amount, and I was pulling things together that in hindsight are bleedingly obvious, but for me were new and exciting horizons of idea and thought.
Right.
I sort of got, I think, even more enthusiastic because we had to give to our small tutorial group like a verbal presentation as well about the essay. So I sort of read the essay and presented it verbally, and it was strongly affirmed by other students. And so I had this real false sense of security that I've done something really I should be proud of and impressive here. And the lecturer didn't say too much, and then took it away. And then when I got it back, he'd marked it electronically, right? So not with red pen, but rather with sort of red typing, in amongst the typing. He got to the end of like my first line.
Yeah.
And then he starts typing for 3 lines, right? About my opening sentence.
So what was it just all like? Were you just like saying like things, the sky is blue, sort of obvious stuff, and thinking that you were like, Moses come down with the 10 Commandments?
No, his point, I think what he was doing for me is he was drawing a line in the sand and basically saying, okay, you've got to here based on sort of, pulling stuff together quickly, putting things in late. And he basically said, okay, now if you want to take this seriously, here's the bar. And so my opening sentence, he says, that wasn't necessary, and went on to explain why it was a total waste of a sentence. You don't need that sentence, and it's not, And so it went on. Oh. And so he wrote as much or more almost as the essay, as the words that I had, the word count that I had written, he wrote in amongst it and alongside of it. After paragraphs, he'd put in a paragraph and say,
wow, that's a lot of work. Like, that's actually quite considerate.
It was a line and a turning point in my kind of in the bar, okay. And I'm very grateful, and that's what but it was brutal. It was brutal. So
now that you're at the other end of this, Tim, and you're like, a teacher and a lecturer, and you mark other people's work, what's it like for you when you fail other people?
It's hard. You don't like to do it because you like to think there's at least you're looking for something to pass someone, even if it's right on the line, like 50%, because you like to think, okay, if I don't want them to do it all again, I just want them to do better next time. So you give lots of feedback and say, here, you do it, and you look for a way for it to be a pass. The thing that steals me to do it is if I think there's not the effort there. If it's line ball and they've tried really hard and they've obviously read lots, but it's just not come together, I'll be erring towards saying, okay, it's line ball, but I'm going to give it a pass. And this person's, you just know they're going to take a giant leap forward for their next one. If it's line ball and it's apathetic, and there's not, it's just they've not put then I'll be like, no, you need to go away and do this properly, not with that tone, but you know what I mean? I will. It's easier to do a fail on those circumstances, but it's heartbreaking when someone's, trying their pants off and they're doing tertiary study for the first time.
Epic fail. We may revisit it at some point when Tim remembers his failure, but for now, let us move on. It's time for Storyblocks, Tim.
Oh, wow. Here we go. On to something that's a success.
Storyblocks, the online library of stock video. They also have stock audio and images that you pay a monthly fee to, and then you can use it all in your own creations royalty-free. I use Storyblocks pretty much every day. I used it a lot for something coming up later in this episode. It'll make sense later on when you hear my idea for a podcast. It has a lot of Storyblocks material in it. The fantastic resource for anyone who's doing anything creative. Having your own media library at your fingertips is invaluable.
I deliberately said nothing because there's nothing else to say. It speaks for itself, man. I know that's not how advertising works.
Next week's Storyblocks ad will just be 2 minutes of silence. I wonder if you search silence on Storyblocks in their audio archive, if they have anything. I wonder if Storyblocks lets you download quality silence. Let's have a look.
They actually give it away free, I think. Like you can get...
Download some free silence. They have lots of things with silence in the name, but it's often sort of musics and whispers and things like that. I can't see anything that is just like completely blank. What about video? What happens if you search the video library for silence? Let's have a look what they've got. What are you guessing is going to come up when I use the word silence and search the Storyblocks video library?
I think a mime artist.
We've got a man putting a finger up to his lips, like going shh. We've got a tranquil young man breathing fresh air, like sort of meditating.
When I was at school, there was a rumour that Marcel Marceau, the famous mime artist, had released a recording of one of his performances. It was an audio recording, so it was just sort of applause at the beginning, dead silence for ages, and then applause at the end.
That was kids being funny, wasn't it?
So it doesn't exist?
I don't know. Maybe it does.
John Cage very famously had a silent piece. It's called 4 minutes 32 or something, and it's just silence.
And Marcel Marceau, the mime artist, spoke the only word in the film Silent Movie.
Oh, that's cool.
Anyway, enough silence trivia. If you would like anything, video, audio, or images, go to storyblocks.com/unmade. Just putting the /unmade lets Storyblocks know you came from here. Storyblocks.com/unmade. But seriously, I am a 100%, 200% happy customer of Storyblocks. I love using their material. It's really useful. And if you're doing anything creative, perhaps you should be checking them out as well.
Storyblocks. Goes without saying.
Nice, Tim. No, you're on fire today. Time for Spoon of the Week. Tim, we're being sent more and more spoons from listeners. So if you don't mind, I thought I'd do a couple of listener spoons today rather than one from the Hine family collection.
Oh, please do. Please do.
Don't say it like that. You're always like really skeptical. In fact, before we do the spoon, I just remembered a story that we should share with the listeners. Because you sent me a picture of something you were given as a gift the other day by one of our young listeners.
Yes, a wonderful gift. And
yeah.
I tell you, I have to say a big thank you to Micah, who has featured on the podcast before.
Yeah.
And this week gave me a spoon rack. And not just any spoon rack, shaped like Australia. Oh, it's just fantastic. It's, albeit without Tasmania, it looks marvellous. And I have to say, I've mounted all the Unmade Spoon of the Weeks up on the rack, and I've placed the rack up on the wall in our apartment, and it looks fantastic. I'm immensely proud of it every time. And some cards that I've got. In fact, I've only got one card. You've only sent me one card for Churchill. Which I don't know why, by the way, have I only been sent one card? The girls have got more cards than I have.
Taunting you.
It drives me crazy. Just send me a pack of the cards. I'm a co-host of the show, but
Gotta earn them, man. Gotta earn them.
as I said before, I never thought in my whole life I'd be opening up a package that features a personally autographed first edition book from Tom Hanks, but doesn't feature souvenir spoon cards, and I'd be disappointed. It's like... So what I've done is I've managed to slot it. I can sort of, on the spoon rack, it works where you can put the spoons in the little slots and then you can sit the card just behind it. So it looks really cool.
So we'll put a picture of that spoon rack in the show notes. But the amazing thing was, right, Tim sent me a picture of this rack. It's like a wooden, dark brown wood map of Australia, basically, with places to hang spoons. Tim sent it to me, and I looked at the picture of it. I was in a car park at the time, right? I'd just done my grocery shopping, and I looked at it and thought, that's really cool. And then I started driving the car, and I swear, 1 minute later, I drove past this yard sale, like a car boot or garage sale that was happening at a house on the side of the road. And on the footpath against this person's front wall, they had not one, but two identical wooden spoon racks, but instead of maps of Australia, they were maps of Britain, and they were full of spoons.
Yeah.
They were and I honestly thought this was divine intervention, that you showed me this wooden Australian spoon rack, and a second later I saw for sale in a front yard these British ones. So I yanked the steering wheel and pulled over the car and parked. And by the time I got to the garage sale, there was this guy leaning down, like a customer, looking at these two racks and asking lots of questions about them.
Yeah.
And he was clearly really interested in them, in the spoons. And I was like, oh no, I can't believe it. And then the guy said, I'm just going to have a think about it, but I really like them. And he went away to look at something else in the front yard, some other items. And I went straight to the racks. And I said to the owner, how much for the racks? And everything. And he said, oh, I don't know, £10 each? And I said, I'd take them. I just pulled out my wallet and gave him the money, picked up the racks and left. Just bought them on the spot. Because this is how much it was divine intervention. I'd said in my head, I reckon I'll go up to £20. That's my limit. Because, they're just tatty old spoons and spoon racks. I'll go up to £20. And the minute he said £10 for each of them, I think God wanted me to have those racks, Tim. So they're now here in my house. Loads of spoons as well. There must have been 50 spoons as well. So I'll put pictures in the notes, and I'm sure we'll visit those spoons again sometime. But it's been Spoon Rack Central here at Spoon of the Week.
Well, I think God wants everyone to have a spoon rack, you see. That's what's going on.
But it has to be shaped of the country you live in.
That's right. So that's it's amazing. Like, a couple of weeks ago, we didn't own spoon racks. Now we do. Both of us, of the country we're living in. Let
me quickly share two spoons that have been sent in by listeners. This one comes from Robin. Hi, Brady. Hi, Tim. Another stick with a scoopy bit from a stakeholder. This one comes from Napier, New Zealand. While Napier is probably most famous for being the Art Deco capital of the world, featuring 1930s architecture all across the town, and I've got a postcard to prove it, this spoon actually depicts the Norfolk trees that make up its urban coastline marine parade. See the other postcard? This person has sent me lots of postcards. Please consider the spoon a peace offering from your old frenemies across the ditch, being New Zealand. I consider the two of you in-air friends at this point and hope the spoon will find a place in the Unmade spoon collection one day. You know what, Robin? It may even end up in one of our spoon racks. Thank you for that. And that must be the spoon that has travelled the furthest so far. It's come from Napier, New Zealand, all the way to my home in Bristol.
It's flown straight over me in Adelaide and gone over to you. I'm just looking at pictures of Napier buildings.
It's
they're gorgeous. I had no idea. Look at all these Art Deco buildings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Napier.
Fantastic.
Famous for that.
How famous? How? When did you know about Napier? How come you're aware of
Well, I know
Napier?
Napier's famous for having Art Deco architecture.
I've never heard of Napier in my entire life.
Well, I can't help it.
Who said to you, hey, so what about that?
I don't know. You just know stuff,
You're annoying how you just know stuff.
It was probably originally linked to cricket somehow. Cricket being played in Napier, I don't know. But I don't know. It's just
okay.
I don't know much else about Napier. I just know it's famous for lots of Art Deco architecture. It's just a nugget. I don't know anything else about Napier.
I'll let you off.
I know lots of famous people from there, and I know the mayor and stuff. But all right.
And I own an apartment there. And
I lived there for 3 years.
my middle name's Napier.
I'm actually there now. This is where I'm recording. Where does this joke end? I am Napier. Here's one more spoon. This comes from Amy. Dear Dr. Brady Harron and Minister Tim Hine, I've enclosed a souvenir spoon as a birthday gift for Brady, because my birthday's later this month, and a belated birthday gift for Tim, although Brady set the bar rather high with Tim's gifts. A little background on how I got this spoon. My mum bought a collection of souvenir spoons while the family was on vacation in North Carolina. This spoon was one of about 20 in the collection that she picked up at a random antique store. Of course, we all teased her about the purchase at the time, but fast forward 10 years and there I was trying to explain to my mum why I wanted one of the spoons to send it to the UK. I picked this spoon for 2 reasons. 1, it's from Hershey, Pennsylvania, close to where I'm from. And 2, I thought the little charm of a Hershey Kiss chocolate on top was pretty unique. So this spoon has got it's very old-fashioned, and it's got a very sort of ornate floral scoopy bit with Hershey, Pennsylvania engraved into it. But at the top, it's got like a sort of a shield-shaped loop, and hanging in the middle of the loop like an earring is a little silver metallic replica of a Hershey Kiss, those famous chocolates that are sort of, I don't know how you would explain the shape of a Hershey Kiss, sort of like a raindrop kind of there a little bit with a flat bottom. Most people, I'm sure, are familiar with the shape of a Hershey Kiss. And there's a little Hershey Kiss dangling in the spoon. Hang on, you hear this? You can hear it. That's it rattling in the spoon there. So there are 2 spoons. I didn't explain the New Zealand spoon, by the way, but that was just an enamel top, which was just a picture of a pine tree.
So not an Art Deco building. Are they known for their pine trees as well?
Yeah, well, she said that in the letter.
Right, okay.
Norfolk Pines along Marine Parade. You know Marine Parade, at the seafront there in Napier. Oh, no, that's right, you wouldn't know Napier. Yeah. Hershey, Pennsylvania, Napier, New Zealand. Thank you very much for those spoons. I am receiving all the spoons you're sending in, people. I will try to get to them. And we will, of course, have more spoons from the Hine collection as well. But there's 2 for this week's episode. Pictures in the notes.
Nice work. 6 out of 10 for that spoon of the week. But anyway, move on.
Okay, well, that's a pass. At least you didn't fail me.
That's right. It's not a fail, is it? No.
Lots of red ink. Tim telling me how I could have picked better spoons. Spoon winners, it's time to see who amongst our Patreon supporters is going to be sent an Unmade Podcast spoon and what 10 people are going to be sent Unmade Podcast collector cards. Tim, how should we pick them this week?
Oh, look, I think we should. Each one is got their name on a building. Let's just walk through Napier, looking at the buildings and seeing the names written on each of them. Look, what's that one up there? That's
So the spoon winner on the first building, that is going to be Brenton from New South Wales in Australia. We're going to send you a spoon.
Nice. That's a nice building.
It is nice. Now we're going to stroll past these other buildings and I'm going to read the names off them. We have Jordan from Louisiana, Tavi from Jerusalem, Albert from Rhode Island, Samvir from the UK, Brenton from British Columbia in Canada.
Another Brenton. 2 Brentons. Yeah. Wow.
Alan from Stockholm, Jason P. from the UK, Neftali from San Diego, Vince from Kansas, Lars W. from Denmark.
Hey, Lars. That's the drummer from Metallica.
I don't know if it's the same Lars.
He's from Denmark.
Yeah. Do you know what? 3 people on that list have won cards before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Amazing.
Gosh.
You can win them again, people.
Well, there's only 12 people in
So there we go. Congratulations, everyone. A reminder, though, one person who would have won cards, the algorithm favoured them, and yet they hadn't supplied their address on Patreon, so I couldn't send them any. So remember to include your address if you want stuff sent to you. If you don't want stuff sent to you, then it was quite a wise move not putting your address there. And also, just a quick reminder from our wholesome last episode, we are also giving away spoons and rocking horse toys and stuff But there is a little contest. You have to do something to get those. So go back to the Patreon page and have a look, because there's still time to enter and win all that loot from the big rocking horse. You still admiring the buildings there, Tim?
Well, they're amazing buildings, aren't they? Really beautiful.
Yeah.
Napier's really quite something.
It's an amazing place. I tell you what else is amazing. Hover, our other sponsor of today's episode.
Hover.
The domain registrar of choice.
I was on Hover today renewing tim.ninja.
You renewed tim.ninja?
Yes.
Did you not have it on auto-renew? Because you can have things auto-renew, or you can set it to get a reminder when it expires, and you can then make your decision at the time. You were on kind of manual review, were you, Tim?
That's right, yes. But I've put it onto auto-renew for the future while I was in there today.
Nice.
Fantastic. So easy. Bang.
Everything about Hover is easy. If you're registering and managing domain names, they've got all that auto-renew stuff. Diverting it to other sites if you haven't built your own site yet is all super easy. It's just such a pleasure to use, isn't it? It's such a good interface. It's idiot proof. Tim used it today, as he said.
Yes, I did. I didn't fail. That's something I didn't fail at.
Yeah.
I tried to fail to have a good example for my idea, but Hover was fail-proof, and I was a success despite my efforts.
If you want to register a domain for anything, whether it's something like timhine.ninja or spoon.cards, which I've registered for our Spoon of the Week cards and stuff like that, go to hover.com/unmade. And if you go to hover.com/unmade, not only will Hover know you came from here, but you will get 10% off your first purchase. So you could buy like a whole stack of domains and get 10% off that. And the prices are already pretty reasonable, so, I mean, you're looking at a serious bargain there. Hover.com/unmade. Check them out, people. Check them out.
Thank you, Hover.
You didn't purchase another sneaky domain while you were there?
No, I was tempted, but I was too busy. But I think of something, and then I thought, oh, hello. Actually, we're renewing the website at my church, and someone suggested, hey, why don't you grab, like a different domain name, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll do, and immediately was just like, I'll do it at Hover.
Do they have like .church? Is .church a domain on Hover?
I imagine it is. I haven't searched yet, but don't everyone buy up all the .churches. Wait until I've done mine.
No, well, no, do, but make sure you use /unmade when you go there.
Oh, indeed, yes.
Tim's now telling people not to go to Hover.
Don't.
Hang on. Is .church one? I don't know. Yes, no, .church. You can get .church. Oh, yeah. So you could put, wherever your church is, .church. Oh, that's great. You should get onto that, Tim.
Oh, well, I will. I'm just recording a podcast at the moment, but I will.
I just thought I'd do a quick Patreon idea, an idea from a stakeholder. Patreon supporters, one of your perks is you get to have your ideas read out. Here is one from Some Jeff from Toronto, Canada. Not Toll Jeff, who's another Patreon supporter. This is Some Jeff.
Some Jeff.
Hi, Tim, and that other paid intern who keeps interrupting you. This is Some Jeff from Toronto, Canada. I'm a fintech solutions architect. I take advantage of new episode drops to get in the car and go for a nice drive to know where I'm back. My podcast idea, the ultimate question. Long ago, a friend and I were driving down the famous Route 66 near Vegas, and the famous question arose. If you could ask only one question to the guru on top of Mount Everest, what would it be? We started off with, are we alone in the universe? But quickly realised that the answer would be no, since there's at least a few of us on this planet already. Therefore, we kept refining until we felt like we'd reached the ultimate question that could cover as many bases as possible. Our ultimate question was, why does the direct competition between human progress and alien progress have such a big impact on our God's ability to improve this universe? Every episode could start off with a question we seek answers to, e.g., will I find love? Is there an afterlife? Are there really infinite digits of pi? Then iterate until the ultimate question is found, to avoid being disappointed by a simple yes-no response. From Jeff. That's a good idea. I actually thought you would quite like that idea, Tim, being, a man of faith and a man of philosophy and culture and literature. I thought this would be a podcast you could possibly listen to, hearing people chew over what their ultimate question would be.
Oh, yeah. This is a really great idea.
Yeah.
Because I love pushing back the questions and not just having a question, but, what's the question behind the question? And then what's a better question? And you start to really think. You really think and get to the heart of, your motivations for life and your deepest longings. That's all good stuff, rich stuff.
Yeah.
Good idea. Yeah.
Pretty deep. I think if I could ask, this guru any question, it would be, what does my dog Audrey really think of me? Does she love me? Or is it just like an animal response because I feed her and house her? Or does she love me? Does she love me? Does my dog love me? I hope she does.
Do you really want to know the answer, though? Like,
No, maybe not.
what if the answer's not yes or no? Maybe the answer's like, look, I do, but I've gone off you a bit. Like we need to spruce it up a little bit, or
Yeah.
you need to spend less time at work, or
Dinner's getting a bit repetitive. Now, it's time for my podcast idea. Tim, an increasingly popular thing are like apps and podcasts and audio products that help people sleep, meditate, relax. Get to sleep is a big one. I'm quite familiar with these because my wife sometimes has problems sleeping. She's not the best sleeper, so she's always looking for new ways to help her fall asleep. And she's got a few of these apps and things that she will listen to in bed. So I hear them as well for as long as I'm awake.
right,
and I've
yes.
become really fascinated by them. Sometimes they're just like a story, like someone reading a piece of literature about like a train journey across the Himalayas or something. Other times they're more like specific, like they'll give you breathing exercises to do and tell you what to think about and things like that. Are you particularly familiar with these?
I'm aware of them. I've never used them, but I'm aware of them, yeah.
Yeah. So I've become, because I hear them a lot now, I'm really into them. And I've also learned things you shouldn't do when your partner's trying to sleep. Like things you shouldn't talk about that will increase anxiety.
Yes.
Like, do you think the foundations of our house are good? And things like that. Like, tell me about some difficult situation that happened at work today or something like that. Like things you shouldn't do right before nodding off to sleep.
Yeah.
So my idea for a podcast is for the Unmade podcast to introduce its very own sleep aids for people to listen to, because I know a lot of people actually do fall asleep to the Unmade podcast. They already use us as a sleep aid. So maybe we should go all in and make a product to help people fall asleep. But in typical kind of Tim and Brady cheekiness, I've decided to put a bit of an unusual twist on it and maybe also tap into some of the things I've learnt that you shouldn't do when falling asleep. So Tim, I've made a little sample of this product. I've called the product Oblivion, because I think, you're right on the edge of sleep and stuff. So I don't know. I think I just like that name. So I'm wondering if you will listen to my first episode of Oblivion and tell me if it helps you nod off. Obviously, you probably can't lie down, but I want you to imagine yourself lying down in bed.
Yes.
Arms by your side. And I'm going to send you this audio file. Wake up.
Oh, sorry.
So I've sent you the file. I want you to press play and then close your eyes and see if you can stay awake throughout this entire 7 minutes as I send you to a peaceful place. Imagine you're in bed at home, okay? Namaste, and welcome to Oblivion, an aid to sleep and restfulness presented by the Unmade podcast. I'm Brady Harron, and I'll be your sleep shepherd this evening. I hope you're laying restfully in bed, arms by your side, and breathing deeply in readiness for this peace journey. That's peace journey. But if you do need the toilet at any time, just press pause. Before we start some breathing exercises and affirmations, let's enter a more relaxed state by moving away from the worries of day-to-day life. First, let's go on a mental journey through the home. Breathe deeply and think, moving through each room at a pace that suits you. Into the kitchen. Did you switch off the stove after cooking this evening's dinner? I'm sure you did. 90% of house fires are actually caused by failing to properly switch off electrical or heating appliances. So rest easy, knowing that all yours are off. All of them. And breathe. Now imagine all the pipework in your house, all carrying water through the walls, nicely sealed, not leaking, none of them slowly seeping, undermining the very structure of your home, potentially bursting and damaging irreplaceable heirlooms. Thank goodness for those secure pipes, and make sure you check them regularly, which is hard when they're invisibly hidden in the walls. And breathe. Did you lock your car this evening? I'm sure you did. That car you can hear starting outside is almost certainly someone else's. And breathe. How was your day at work? Did it all go smoothly? It certainly seems like it. You can never be totally certain what your colleagues are saying when you aren't there, if they truly respect you, or even like you. But let those worries wash away like a melting candle. You did blow out those candles, didn't you? What do you have to do at work tomorrow? So much to do. It's going to be tough. And maybe you've forgotten something. But that's a worry for tomorrow. And breathe. Did you go on social media today? Do you know what your friends are doing? Are they having amazing holidays? Has someone taken your last post the wrong way? Some way you didn't think about before you posted it? Have you offended someone you care about? Have you hurt a family member without realizing it? Maybe just pause this episode for a few moments and quickly check Instagram. We'll be here when you get back. And welcome back. And breathe. Now that we've put your mind at peace, it's time for some relaxation exercises. As you lay there, focus on every body part one by one. Start with your toes. Just wiggle them slightly. Move up through the soles of your feet, your shins, knees. One by one, imagine each hair on your legs. Be thankful to them for providing that little bit of extra warmth when you're wearing shorts. Move up to your thighs. Tense them. That slight pain you're feeling is almost certainly nothing. Don't worry about it. Breathe. Moving up, we'll skip the next bit because too much relaxation can result in some quite catastrophic consequences for the bed linen. Just breathe and move into your stomach. Did you eat well today? Did you eat healthily? Was that cheeky KFC really worth it? What are the 11 secret herbs and spices? And breathe. Now move through your internal organs one by one. Your kidneys, your liver, your spleen. What is your spleen exactly? And where is it? What does it do? Maybe grab your phone again and have a quick check on Wikipedia. Now your lungs. Let's together take 5 deep breaths. Hold them until I say release. Breathe in. Release. Breathe in. Release. Breathe in. Hello? Yeah, yes. Yes, that's me. Brady. Yes. Brady. Yes. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Yes, you too. Have a good day. Bye now. Release. Breathe in. Release. Breathe in. Release. Now let's move to your heart. Time your heartbeats with me. Beat. 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 Let's keep that rhythm going through the whole night. Now let's move to the affirmations. Repeat these statements after me. I am strong and confident. I am loved. I did switch the gas off downstairs. There is nothing hidden under my bed I should be afraid of. My friends do like me and are not saying nasty things behind my back. I will sleep soundly tonight. And breathe. Good night.
That's gold. That's fantastic. That's brilliant.
Got you in the mood for some sleep?
Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, very well done. That's lovely work.
Nice. We'll make that available as a standalone little audio download for people as well if they want to go and put that on their phone, help them get to sleep each night. Just let their worries roll away.
That's that's a winner. That's fantastic. Well done. Nice work. Can I say, who were the exhales supplied by anyone in particular?
Well, funny you should mention that. Storyblocks.com/unmade.
Nice. Goes without saying.
We didn't plan that. Goes without saying.
Nice work. Oblivion.
I wish we could make some more. We could make a whole series of them.
We could.
There's a lot of money to be made in getting people to sleep these days.
Yes. More money in doing that than waking them up, I think.
Cool. All right, Oblivion.
Nice work. I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, that's it for today. Did you have secret words?
No, I didn't have any secret words tonight, so it's another big... So I didn't fail.
Brilliant stuff. There are lots of links in the notes for things we've talked about today. Go and check it all out. We shall return at some point in the foreseeable future. Namaste. I had this big setup plan, Tim. I was going to do the plectrum thing and I was going to then come back to it later in the show with the new merch, but you just set it up too beautifully when you said, oh, you can even get them branded, apparently, like Kiss. You're too. It's like you're putty in my hands.
Oh. I love them. I can't stop looking at them. I think it looks great.